Hello friends and welcome to this lesson. Now we've been talking about slides. We've been learning how to create our slides. So let's take the last lesson further and look at how we can create better slides. So slides. Now bullet points are to be used. We are not to use text. And as you see these bullet points here, 32 to 48 font size, perfectly acceptable. 48, 44, etc. use for headings, subheadings, and others you can use for text, but text should be arranged in a clear and uncluttered way. Now if you look at this slide, what is happening here? There's too much going on. There's some text and there are a couple of images and there is one more table kind of a thing with some comparison 2, 4, 6. Now this is a very cluttered slide. Neither the speaker nor the audience would be able to find their way around such a slide. So don't put too much clutter on a slide. A cluttered slide is something that distracts, as I told you in the last lesson also, that your slide should not be a distraction at all. It should be clean and every slide should make a point. The slide should not have too much going on. There should not be too much matter. The slide has to be something that takes your story forward. Whatever you are trying to present, it takes it forward slowly. Now this is a clean slide, so if I want to have an image, I must have an image, but then it should be clean. I can have two columns and text in both columns. Supposing there's a comparison of something, there's a before after. I can put a graphic here, infographic here, image here, and some bullet points. But it should be clean. It should not be cluttered, not difficult to understand, not distracting. So make it clean. And you can increase the number of slides if required instead of cluttering one slide. That is something that you should not do. Now, if I'm going to use graphs, now this is a bar graph. So if I'm going to use this bar chart or whatever you want to call it, uh, uh, so my bar chart should be limited. I can't have now 10 bar charts. That would become very boring. What am I trying to depict? What is my purpose? Based on that, let me depict my data in a proper way, but without killing people with the sheer number of slides. So too many slides can also be a burden. So you should be able to make your matter concise, easy to understand, clear and uncluttered, without distractions, and keeping the flow and signposting and your framework in mind. So move towards your conclusion in a very nice way. Now, if I have too much detail, if I have too many charts, etc., that I'm going to put. So if I have too many, then detailed charts, etc., can go on boards or handouts. When should I give out the handouts? So if those charts are to be used during the presentation, then when the time for their use comes, give it to them. Don't give it before you start the presentation. Otherwise, people will be looking at the charts instead of looking at you. So give it at that time, then tell them, please keep them aside. You can take them home. Otherwise, if you're taking it back, ask someone to go and take it back from them. If you want them to look at the charts later, or you want them to have the charts with them, but you don't need to make use of them during the presentation by showing something to them while they're looking at it, then give it to them when they are going back. So these are handouts. Occasional use of images is absolutely fine, but every slide having an image or clip art or graphic, that can also become boring. All your numbers need to be checked cross-checked. Your sources need to be quoted. Where did I get this data from? A lot of times there'll be people in the audience who say, where did you get that data from? I think that's very old. That's wrong. So you should have put it there itself, that as per the survey done in 2017 by this government agency, I got this from the ministry website. Finished. Nobody is going to question you further. If somebody wants to go back and cross check, they can always do so. So don't stand there gaping, I don't know where the data. If it's on your slides, you've got to know where it came from. What is the credibility? Because your credibility depends upon the authenticity of the data. All right. Ensure that all your charts and whatever is on your slides are seen by people in the audience. Tiny font sizes, we have talked about it enough that you don't need to have tiny font sizes. If you have tiny font sizes, then that is going to create a problem for your audience. So my dear friends, I think you already have a fair idea of how to create your slides. Now in the next presentation also, we are going to talk about this same matter, and then we'll talk about delivery, and then I'll give you a few tips. I hope you're enjoying the course. I hope you're learning how to create a nice clear presentation, and it's so simple. You just follow this simple process and voila, your presentation is ready. So thank you very much for watching this lesson. I'll see you in the next. Until then, all the best.